Wishing our viewers and listeners around the globe a very wonderful day. Whether it be morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time zone you're in, you'll log on to WINNFM 98.9 on the FM dial for another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program. We do have a guest to present, but we'll do all that and more when we return from giving credit to our sponsors. See you on the other side.
Yes?
Jean!
Oh, this beer's hot, boy. I can't take it.
Well, it's a good thing I called. The TDC Home and Building Depots are having their Cool 'em Down sale, and you're sure to get 25% discount on fans, AC units, coolers, fridges, and more to beat this heat.
Girl, Betty, you're making joke.
No, girl. Stop sweating and let's go to the store now.
Come pick me up, because may want to miss this sale at TDC Home and Building Depot.
Cool. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Internet and get 1 month free, plus a chance to pay $0 for the rest of the year. Plus, get a chance to win free data, gas vouchers, $500 cash weekly, grocery vouchers, Fed tickets, and more.
Switch over to Flow.
Once again, good morning to all within and out the Federation. We call this one a double slice of paradise. We salute those who are celebrating, those who are not so happy because of the event, those who are on the road, those in the service providers, just about everyone within the Federation and without. A beautiful Wednesday to you. We are in the month of September, actually the 8th day of September, a month when we in the Federation of SKN celebrate our independence anniversary. And so we're gearing up for that. Lots of things I am told that will be unfolding. It's also the month when we are visited by the hurricanes. We are actually from the 1st of June each year. Is it June or July? June on to November. We're in the midst of the Atlantic hurricane season. I'm told there's something out there. So just to remind the folks who needs to be reminded, be vigilant. We're in the hurricane season. And normally, during the week when we're normally celebrating our independence anniversary, we get visited. We're not asking for anything. We're not really calling wolf, but be vigilant. Morning, Rosemary. Good morning to Chris Collins. Good morning to, Bag of Sugar once again. Peter Williams over there in Antigua. Mr. Valentine Monish. And I'll hear out others as the morning unfolds. Welcome to another episode of Voices. Today we have with us the president of the St. Kitts Taxi Association in the person of Mr. Leroy Matthew. He is in a uniform, so he came for business. And we'll be hearing quite a bit of what he has to share with the public today. I'll have him introduce himself to the public. And Mr. Matthew, the mic is yours.
Yes, good morning to everybody, all the listening audience out there in radio
and
land.
viewing.
And viewing.
You got your covered.
Yeah, of course. You know, My name is Leroy Matthew. I'm the president of the St. Kitts Taxi Association, the leading taxi association on the island.
It's my first laugh of the month. Go ahead.
However, I was voted in as president last year, December, the 1st of December, 2022. So far, it has been good in a challenging way, and I embrace the challenge. If people would have known me, I'm a person who never used to give up. I used to always beat you at the finish line.
You're talking about back in the day when you was an athlete?
Still is, but I just don't perform.
But back in the day?
Yeah, back in the days.
Okay, cool. You say you don't perform anymore?
I have a lawyer. I have my lawyer number, Socrates.
It's a question.
Okay. Guys, I'm here today because there's a number of topics and things I want to discuss and shout to the public generally. But first, let me remind my members that we have a general meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Shadwell, the last place we have held our meeting. So please be early and punctual tomorrow. There's a lot of things to discuss. I won't be saying everything here because some things are within the house. Parking at Port Zante. We've been having some challenges with the parking at Port Zante in recent times. In that the UDC, in the beginning, they sent us an email saying that they don't want no parking at Port Zante on a non-ship day. And I took the matter, the complaint to them, and they revisited, and then they changed from a non-ship day from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., no parking at Port Zante. Part of my issue with that is that the active business that operates on Port Zante up until 10, 11, 12 in the evening. And to say that you don't want no parking down there at the taxi parking lot, but we could park somewhere else. I think it's not fair to those business. It's not fair to the taxi drivers who operates from Port Zante. There are some people operate daily. I don't know Mr. Hodge operate. Mr. Hodge will operate at Port Zante during the evening?
No, but I'm here to represent the folks who have issues with them. I'm the host at the moment because, as you very well know, I would have received the same correspondence, and I'm president of one of the organizations. So while you're here, I'm the host. I'm going to let you say what you have to say.
Yes.
So I'll come in at the appropriate time.
So that is one issue, is that the overnight parking was a problem for UDC. And while I could support the overnight parking, but my thing is that 7 p.m. is too early to say no parking in the taxi parking lot. It's a taxi parking lot. While we are encouraged by the same UDC to go somewhere else and Port Zante and park. So you can't park in the parking lot, but you can go somewhere else and park. I think it's really, really unfair. It doesn't make any sense for this to be placed upon, this burden, I must say, was placed upon taxi driver. I also want to look at the west drop-off point, which is the one that when you come in there by Rams, where the old MoneyGram used to be. UDC mentioned to us that other people used to use it, other like busmen and other private vehicles, and so that they blocked it off. So now they blocked it off, nobody can use it. You can't drop off nobody there. You can't turn around if they're not allowing to go over Port Zante. It's an area you could just simply turn around and head back into town. But apart from that, myself and I know other taxi drivers would have used that parking or drop-off area. It's a drop-off area to point to the guests where their Amina market is by preventing us from dropping off there. Also bring a treatment to the Amina market vendors. You can't drop off nobody. there because they block it off. And when you drop people, you can actually point directly to the guests. There is the MENA market that you can see when you drop off there. That was my two issues when it comes to the UDC and the parking at Port Zante.
Okay. Before we go any further, let me see if we can bring some context. But first, I'm going to ask you, did they give you any rationale as to why they didn't want anybody parking there overnight?
The overnight parking, they say it would have been put a strain on the security, and people can hide between them. But we've been doing this for years, and we never had a problem with that over the years. They even mentioned that maybe we can park somewhere else, and the dirt way over with on the eastern side by the dirt.
They offered?
They offered. They were supposed to get back in touch with us to confirm it, but up until now, they did not.
Okay.
We even said that we could pay. We could even pay for parking. If that's one the issue, we could pay for parking. Because it's really difficult for when you're on a busy season for you to be driving the vehicles, if you have more than one vehicles coming from the countryside, Sunny Point, St. Paul, there, it is more convenient for you to have paid parking or privileged parking, if the case may be.
I would think so too. But one of the things I mentioned, and I think you challenged it, was, as you just mentioned, that we've been doing this for years. And even though there's been some incidents of maybe breaking into vehicles, et cetera, we were able to deal with that. What they said, though, they could be sued. The whole issue said it was never challenged in court, whether they could park there, because it's a secured area, and your vehicle is damaged there, you can sue them. And I think he pushed back on it and said, well, it's never been challenged in court.
It's never been. Anybody can be sued.
So that was all part of the debate.
Anybody can be sued, but it doesn't mean that you have a winnable case.
Okay, I understand.
Because if you say park at your own risk, for example,
A disclaimer.
I mean, that doesn't mean you can be sued, but there will be no merit.
Okay.
Good grounds.
The issue with parking on the other side by, as you referred
Drop
to,
off.
what I understood in that meeting, that they stopped that because they observed busmen and other persons who didn't have the requisite license to conduct the taxi trade was dropping off and picking up people there.
Yeah, that might be
That was part of the discussion.
Yeah, that might be so, Socrates, but look at it this way.
No, I am giving the rationale they
Yes.
gave.
Oh,
I
okay.
understand what you said, what they said, but these were all part of the discussion. That is why they said they stopped that because they observed busmen and other persons were playing into the taxi business, dropping off and picking up there, and they put a stop to that based on the observation.
Okay,
So
look.
all these things can be revisited
Yes, definitely.
with a view to find solutions.
Of course.
But just give the whole narrative, what was discussed, what was the rationale, and all that. Also, the option of parking on the other side. They discussed with us, maybe we could arrange a payment system.
Yes, we brought it up.
All right. Now, I was of the view, because when I got the correspondence, I said maybe we could arrange with them parking for taxi drivers in the same parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would cost a person a lot less than having to take his vehicle, say, to Sadler's and back daily, if he's paying a parking fee. Because if he's about to rev in the street, because there's a parking area that they pay for. If we have that option to stay in the same parking lot and pay something, that could be worked out. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is something that we mentioned, we brought it up, and the drivers don't mind paying something at the end of the month, maybe a monthly fee.
Yeah.
We have a special monthly fee.
Got a
because we pay for
coupon.
a coupon.
So
for the whole
the
month.
security guard after 7 o'clock, you will, okay, you're here, yes, but you have a coupon.
Yeah, but my thing is, I don't have a problem with if they want to push back on the overnight parking. My thing is that there are businesses that's open up until 10 and 11, 12 in the evening. Why tell a taxi driver he cannot park in the taxi parking lot? Why it does for me, and you could park somewhere else. Well,
Which was mentioned down in front of the casino?
Yes.
There,
the same way the vehicle is going to obstruct the view in the taxi parking lot. You put them somewhere else, they're going to obstruct the same view.
Question. while we'll let's use it for the night parking there between 7 and 6 a.m. Are the other vehicles allowed to use the same space?
Of course, and that's the thing about it. Other vehicles are allowed to use the same
The same
space.
space?
Yes,
I have not-
sometimes.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
there.
no. That is where we are allowed to park.
Yes,
Private vehicles are not allowed to
they are
use the
not
spot.
allowed, but it do happen.
So it's a violation.
It is a violation. And
Okay.
this brings me back to the western part, drop-off point.
Mm-hmm.
If other drivers use it, busmen and other people use that area, find a way to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't deny the taxi drivers an area to drop off the guests so they could point the guests to the shopping area, to the Amina market, which
Okay.
really needs some help when it comes to with customers.
Okay, that can be. All right, not a point. So I'm just waiting on the 2 points that you raised. You say the others?
Yes, of course. We are waiting on the new policy from tourism for quite a while now. That there seems that they want to have some changes. I welcome changes once they're positive changes.
You mean the policies that the minister would refer to, the changes?
Yes. We really cannot debate them a lot now because we haven't gotten back anything official yet
But from the first meeting,
from the first
there was supposed to be a follow-up.
Yes.
And I did call one of the functionaries and ask, when will we follow up? But I think they were waiting. This person went on vacation.
That person
went on vacation.
Yes.
So we need to get that meeting
I-
because
I'm
we're fast
hoping-
approaching the come season. These things need to be clarified.
Come October, that's supposed to be the opening of the tourism season. I hope that they're not waiting till the last minute to put down a lot of changes and things that we didn't agree on. Because the drivers really don't appreciate these type of changes. I think there are some positive changes, but I think there are some changes that will negatively affect the taxi drivers.
Well, then you can't speak to them because you don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah, but they would have mentioned them in the
at the
consultation
Marriott?
at the Marriott.
Yeah.
So we have an idea. But sometimes you could put something, it's a proposal. That's the word I will use, a proposal. Now, there's an issue about the drivers them in what we call the circle area.
At the front of the
At
arrival
the front
hall.
of the arrival hall. It's a challenging area, but it's an area where brings a lot of revenue also to the country. What I'm proposing is that they try and make the area more friendly to the guests, in that you put more people in place to deal with the one or two drivers who may behave a bit.
More people being security.
Yeah, in terms of security and what you call an inspector from the tourism department to observe those persons who harass the guests. Because I don't tolerate anybody harassing the guests.
But hasn't that been done before and faced a lot of pushback?
I think that not in the way that we'll be proposing in terms of getting it documented, pull that person into the office, sit down and talk to them, get the police involved. If this is continued, there'll be some sort of penalty, attached to it. Instead of removing everybody from that area. Because let's face the fact, we know that we dispatch at the back cannot accommodate everybody comfortable. It'll be a disadvantage. Yeah, it'll be a disadvantage to some drivers, and it'll be a financial disadvantage to the country, because the guys in front brings in more revenue than what we do at the back.
Okay. Let me see for the persons who are unfamiliar with what we refer to as the front and the back. The gangway spills off into what we call the arrival hall, that area, sterile area where the pre-booked tours and those who are just walking on are engaged into going on the various excursion. There are those who bypass those approach them as dispatchers, so to speak, and they go out to the front. In some cases, the word has been spread on some ships that it's better to go outside because you can get better deals, so to speak. And so when they go out there, because, those are like me to say it's a free-for-all. But it is a free-for-all. The persons with the better salesmanship sometimes get the job, they with a better technique, etc. But it's noisy.
Yeah, but
it's not the best reception. But as you said, until they can come up with a better solution. But you're recommending methods that can be solutions for that market, right?
Yes.
But here's my question. Have you discussed it with the other presidents?
Well, we'll discuss it from once or twice, about the area that is thing we need to put more things in place. That is something that we would have mentioned, not in detail, but we would have mentioned it.
But you're being specific just now. And you use the word penalty. So when you say that they should put these measures in place and have penalties, you got to be careful. Because you now will be accused of siding with tourism in suggesting penalties.
Nothing wrong. If you misbehave and you're out of line, Socrates, and you need to be dealt with.
I understand,
I don't have a problem with that.
I understand.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to support you if you're wrong. If you're right, I will support you.
We have some what they call bad actors down there.
Of course.
Right.
So those are what I'm talking about.
Okay. If I made Wayne and what's fed into all that, because many persons over the years have been encouraged to invest. Go to the bank, secure mortgages, get vehicles to come and join the taxi business. And I had occasion to ask a former CEO if any feasibility studies were done as to whether or not the industry can take in more drivers. And she said no. So I asked her, why are you bringing more people? Because if you can't control what you have and you make it an open sesame to bring in others who, in the high seasons, see the mega ships down there and figure, well, it's a great business. And they want to join and they've been encouraged to join. But when they get down there now and reality hits, because day one, you're down there, you didn't get a job. Day two, day three, you didn't get a job. What are you going to do? Start hustling.
Yeah, of course.
And then you have this thing about you shouldn't be soliciting. Your business license is one for solicitation. You have to solicit.
Well,
because in the circus, that's what you do. When you're poor, that's what you do.
The dispatcher solicit.
Yeah, but okay, you're going against your own point, because you're saying that if we at the back,
if you're going to use,
if we at the back,
no, but
cannot feed the front of people.
What I'm saying,
they have to solicit.
For me, the word solicit doesn't apply to taxi drivers.
I know.
And that is something that I always say. The word solicit, we apply in our trade. It's part of our
We're in agreement with
business.
that.
Yes.
We're in agreement with that.
So I don't really like the word solicit for us.
But it is.
It's if you don't have a taxi license and you're going to Port Zante or going to the circus and speak to guests, you now become a solicitor in terms of you start to solicit.
Okay, there's somebody who wants to get in on the phone call. It's a bit early because are you finished with the presentation? Want to get your stuff
Not
in first?
totally. They can call in.
Okay.
They can call in.
We're going to keep the phone lines open, Mr. Trent, and entertain the public. In the meantime, Chris Collins, once again, what I would like you to do, Chris Collins, is send me a breakfast menu. People want to know what you have for breakfast. In the meantime, you're going to open the phone lines and take calls from the public. So, okay. Yeah, the whole thing about Kent, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning, you're live on Voices.
Mr. King, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How about now?
I'm giving thanks for life and yourself.
Count to my blessings first.
And good morning to Mr. Matthew.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Well, the King, I listened to you announcing at your last post at the program. You did announce the new change in the taxi stand. And Mr. Matthew, you would agree that the UDC authorities had already went on and do what they had to do. That is where it's at now. After the consultation or the gathering that we had there, we made suggestions that short space of time was too short because, like you rightly said, there are businesses on Port Zante that open beyond 6 or 7 o'clock. But yet they went along and they enacted it without the consent. So what my question is like, what other things that was proposed that they're not going to enact? They're going to go and do what they have to do, regardless of what are. And we were asked to make suggestions. And lo and behold, they did not take our suggestion on board for that day. They went along and they decided from 6 to 6 or from 6 to 7 or whatever time They
From
decided
7
on.
p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes, but we had suggested that, hey, there are businesses on Port Zante, and other private vehicles will go beyond and park down there. What is that? What are they saying? That we can go and park beyond also, but not in the legitimate parking lot that is rightly ours?
But that's exactly my point, Africa. That is exactly my point. That you're telling me I could go somewhere else and park, but not in the taxi parking lot or stand. So why move me in the first place from being in the taxi parking area? When I'm down there working, sometimes you park in the taxi parking area and you walk over to close to a business place, you see somebody walk out, you say taxi, they say yes, and you move. You take them to your vehicle and you move, and you probably come back or whatever you want to do after. But I think that they did not take our suggestions. They didn't want it, and it is apparently they are showing it now.
Exactly, and that is only one of the many suggestions that came out.
Exactly.
And we were asked to get involved with our suggestions, and we did make suggestions, and lo and behold, none of our suggestions concerning the extended period of time was taken on board. So my question to the general public and to those that are listening, because we're dealing with logic here, what makes you from this present one here? What makes you feel that they're going to listen to us with the others? This is a precedent that has been set now. Because here it is, this was one of the things that was proposed, and we said extend the hours. Because
Extend the hours.
Taxi drivers would be working.
And Africa, I just want you to know that when we had the first meeting with UDC, I make sure I went on record and said I do not agree with the time. Over the Marriott, I raised the concern again. In a different meeting, I raised the concern again. And eventually I'll have to come to the drivers and get the support of the drivers eventually when it is necessary.
Well, Mr. Matthew, so far so good. You did came to the airport the other day with an issue at the airport, and I applaud you for that, because that shows that you have assumed the hand of a president, and you are showing representation to
Thank you.
whatever matter. It might be small, but you are showing that your members, that you're there for them. So, and you guys did got up when you realized that these guys was trying to, like Socrates would say, bowl a googly. You guys got up and said, no, we weren't aware of all of this.
Definitely. Socrates got up and even cleared up.
Yes, you got up and represent. So I'm watching the play. I always weigh in on these matters here because it would affect me in a negative or a positive way. So I always would want to make my contribution. And I suggested things also. I made suggestions. Now, for a long time, it has been tedious. These things have been pulverizing for a long time. And of course, UDC and the relevant authorities, they will have to do what they have to do. But can there be a dialogue where we agree to disagree on things of that? The extended hours down there ought to have been initiated, ought to have been a part of it. Because there are guys who would choose to work in the day, and there are some guys who choose to work in the night.
As a matter of fact, Africa, I went to the UDC office last week and asked for a copy of the new proposal about the parking area, or the new policy, sorry, not proposal, the new policy concerning the parking area. And they said someone is not there, so they can't get a copy, or they don't know if they get a copy. And one person suggests, yeah, we're not going to give you a document so you could use it against UDC. I mean,
Anyway.
so it's amazing, but we need to put things in place properly, not just force your hand because you feel like you have a big stick. Yeah?
But that document that was referred to is not a document that the general public
It should be,
ought to have.
should be, definitely.
I read it.
Mm-hmm.
I read it. What I posted in the chat was an excerpt And I follow up because you said you wanted to see the document, and I thought you would have gotten a copy, but you said you didn't get a copy. So I read it. It's in entirety.
So you have a copy, Socrates?
Yeah. It's not a document. It was a letter informing us.
A letter?
That was September 1st.
Yeah, but a letter different from a policy, a new policy.
Well, that's what I got. That's what I read. They outline what the new
guys,
policy
I'm
is.
gonna look
Yes.
someone else to get a call
Okay.
in. I'm
We do
listening,
have at this
so
point.
I'll call back.
Thank you, Africa. We do have at this point have to pause to give credit to our sponsors. So we will do that right about now and be right back with a continued conversation. Are you
Are
ready?
you ready for the summer? Need a plan like no other. Stay connected when you're on the go.
Sign up for internet and get 1 month free, plus a chance to pay $0 for the rest of the year. Plus, get a chance to win free data, gas vouchers, $500 cash weekly, grocery vouchers, Fed tickets, and more.
Switch over to Flow.
50,000?
50,000.
$50,000? Win big with TDC. Win up to $50,000 cash in the TDC Mega Rewards Mega Raffle. To enter, you must be a Mega Rewards member or sign up to TDC Mega Rewards Loyalty Program. Shop at our TDC retail stores or online at shoptdcgroup.com to receive one entry for every $250 spent. Draws take place from July to November. Win $10,000 every month with your entry rolled over so you can win, and win even more.
Yes, this is 50.
Terms and conditions apply.
Feel the magic happening. Campari. Taste. Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
At 11:32 a.m., we listen to Voices, and we go straight to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
How are you doing, King?
Man, I'm batting 100.
All right. Now, I'm just calling to get some clarity on the information which I'm not sure of. It appears to me that there is an issue with parking at Port Zante, whether it's overnight parking or moment parking for the taxi operators. It is my view that each taxi operator have a multi-facility vehicle of which he uses as his personal car, and he also uses it to apply his trade. Having said that, it is my view, I don't see a taxi driver, a regular taxi operator, parking his taxi overnight at Port Zante. Because no matter where he is, he could be called into service anywhere, anytime.
Point.
And so to me, the argument does not hold strong for a taxi operator. That's my view. I stand to be corrected. No, I hope we are not getting mixed up with the train, the safaris, the large tour bus, and the taxis. What are we really speaking about? If somebody could explain that to me, then I can go forward. Because I believe that even though we could call it same thing, cap above, they're in similarity, but they are not of the same. Before you receive, a long time ago, the policy was, before you receive a license to operate a safari, the agreement would have been, you would have had to prove that you will be getting jobs
Directly
from the internet on your own overseas coming directly to you. You will not be competing against the taxi operator on the ground. Well, you know.
Earl had to go through that. Earl Van Loo had to go through that. So you're correct.
So it appears to me that all of that have changed. And now that it have changed, people who have taxi license and who are operating safaris and large tour buses are claiming the same as their taxi operators. When the difference between those operators and the taxi operators, which is directly bona fide operators, it is chalk to cheese. The income completely different. And so when I heard the statement that was made, that you're giving concession to only those taxi operators who receive a vehicle under 4 years old, to me that does not make sense. Because we know that our tourist industry only lasts at least 4 to 5 months in a year.
Mid-season.
And that I have said, and I will listen the rest after here, and I will come back to you later.
Okay, much appreciated. I'm going to ask Mr. Matthew to respond to your comment. Mr. Matthew, what do you have to say about that?
I sort of understand what he's saying. There should be a separation between taxi operators and tour bus or safaris when it comes to the issue of parking. And that is why I'm saying that it is wrong, in my opinion, to tell taxi drivers they cannot park at Port Zante after 7 p.m. or they should not park in the taxi parking area, but they can find somewhere else on Port Zante to park, which for me doesn't hold water.
Okay. The issue that, wasn't part of the discussion when we met with the folks at UDC was the persons who had multiple vehicles and was using the taxi stand not as a taxi stand but as a garage.
Yeah, no, I
You got a point the last column made. If you're a taxi operator, you will take your vehicle home. You get a call meaning that your taxi is with you.
I understand.
But
all
the
that
issue
stuff.
was, and part of the discussion was, those who have multiple vehicles who live in 2 and 3 parking at the location and using it as a garage and not as a taxi stand. Wasn't that part of the discussion?
Yes, Socrates. I don't know about the garage part of it.
No, it
I
wasn't
know-
mentioned. Wasn't it mentioned in the same discussion that you were in?
Yeah, use a garage is different. Now, for me, right, the king is that and as I mentioned before, I don't have a problem supporting UDC with the overnight parking issue. I don't have a problem with the overnight parking.
Is it time frame?
But it's the time frame. Don't get me wrong. The time frame. Because we have legitimate business down there. There's one or two restaurants down there open until 10 o'clock in the evening.
So what is
wrong? You bring some guests from the Marriott, for example. Drop them off. Let's say about 6:30.
There's a drop-off and pick-up area.
Yeah, but there's a taxi parking too.
And we can't park in the circus.
Yeah, we could park in the circus, but you have
not if you're doing a safari, and those are the challenges.
No, I'm talking about a taxi.
Okay.
I'm talking about taxi. I'm saying is that your dinner will last maybe until about 8:30, 9 o'clock. There's more power open, and you're telling me don't park in the taxi parking lot. Park somewhere else. For me,
somewhere else is the area in front of the casino mapper where multiple person park.
A lot of people park there. So you're running us from one area that we should have legitimate reason and right to park, and telling us we can't park where we're supposed to park. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I probably need to go to university.
But would you concede that the
overnight parking
emphasis was on those who had multiple vehicles?
Yeah, but you're punishing
leaving them there.
And that is what I'm saying. But you're punishing everybody to get at some people. But what I'm saying, the timing, I don't have a problem with supporting the overnight parking. But the timing, I think
what was satisfied, 9 o'clock?
I think 10, maybe 11 o'clock.
So
because they're business who open until 10 and 11 and 12. And it is bad. It's bad for business. I mean, business want to support by bringing guests there, but you tell me I can't park there, and go somewhere. I might get a ticket to park and get a line.
The drop-off pick-up areas.
Drop off is drop off. You get a ticket if you park there.
Okay.
I got a ticket already.
On the drop-off?
And the drop-off, because I drop off and stay there, and I ship there, and I got a ticket.
On a ship there and got a ticket?
Yeah, because it's a drop-off. It's not a parking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Socrates, the Uber situation. I think a lot of people would have discussed this Uber.
Waiting on one side or the other, based on what they think they know. Okay, let's hear you.
For me, there's no Uber in St. Kitts. There's no Uber in St. Kitts.
You're correct with that.
Right? And there are people, though, who illegally
use the name
and
the concept,
and charges people money from point A to point B in a vehicle with a P that doesn't cover those people if there's an incident, like an accident. And I'm asking the authority to really investigate and look into this and stop it. Just the same way you train taxi drivers, you put rules and regulations in place for taxi drivers. You're allowing some people in P vehicle to be up and down, picking up all kind of people up and down the place by hotels. Sometimes they come on the beach and pick up tourists.
What I understand from someone who said that they heard Inspector Colonel Henry remark that until you report it, they can't do anything about it.
It was reported. As a matter of fact.
Not the incident. But let's see what this caller has to contribute. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Good morning, King.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Macho.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Leroy Puck up here.
Hey, Mr. Puck.
I just calling in connection with your conversation. Taxi business in this country has been nothing new. When are we going to get it right? Administration after administration come and go. And we can't get it right as yet. When will we get this taxi situation sorted out and get it right, whereby it will benefit the bona fide taxi drivers of St. Kitts? When are we going to get it right?
Give me an example you're talking. You could be more specific.
For example, the parking that you are referring to. How many taxi drivers who only have one taxi will leave their taxi overnight at Port Zante?
No, none of them. If you got one vehicle, you don't leave the vehicle. You go home with your vehicle. It's also your personal chance.
But if we operate at Port Zante, why are there time restrictions upon us when we are working for ourselves?
Well,
some people work in the day, some people work in the night.
That's a question.
Restriction?
That's a question I ask.
Why is the restriction? I could remember, George Scarborough of blessed memories, when he first bought the Coaster bus. George Scarborough came to the taxi stand at the Marriott for weeks, months, and he couldn't get a job because he had a Coaster until somebody pitied him. I think it was Ricky Skerritt or somebody, and allowed him to go to the Marriott. If it's one person to go to Shiggity Shack for $5 and he accepted it, fine. That's the only how he got the job. Now, what we got? We got Coaster, we got Safari, we got everything now going to the Marriott. Let's get this thing right once and for all. It's too much of bickering. Every season come, we got problem. Every season come, we got problem. So I'm just asking the question, when are we going to get it right as bona fide taxi drivers? This is all we do for a living. We ain't do nothing else for a living. I went to the first seminar they had with the guy from, so used to be at ZIZ, when they had it at the Factory Social Center, I think in 1989.
That wasn't the first.
You had to go there and pass the exams and stuff like that before you.
You're talking about Keynes, but that was not the first. That was one.
Well, that's the one I went to.
Okay.
When there was at the Factory Social Center, when you had exams and stuff like that after 2 weeks training and stuff like that. When are we going to get it right?
Well,
administration after administration, and we still can't get it right. Everybody down taxi drivers through. Everybody.
One of the problems we have, that's when it's convenient. When it's convenient, we see the other problems. And when it's not, we ask about unity. But sometimes when we're given a chance to step on our fellow drivers, we do that. So it's a collective.
Are we to be considered that we are no longer ambassador to this country?
That has nothing to do with our ambassadorship. I'm talking the times when, example, being a member of an organization, when we allow ourselves to be siphoned off by work. They give you work, and you go ahead and undermine your own associate and take the work, rather than saying, no, go through the executive and let's all share. That's part of the problem.
So we ain't going to get any better then. Technically, what we're saying today, we're not going to get any better.
I'm not saying that. Until we get beyond
well,
that mentality.
Is part of the problem, based on the example that you just gave.
Correct.
You got cut price. You got people who is accepting the contracts for lesser prices. If we used to go like Cocker Shell for $10 per person, and somebody come and tell Cantor's at one of them big company, I could go for 5, I could go for 6 round trip.
Yeah, you know very well that over the years, members of the associations have gone on undermine everyone's association, and that is the issue.
Yeah, okay then, gentlemen.
A major part of the issue.
I understand all that, but really and truly, those are things that we will have been discussed many times.
But you
before.
asked the question.
Yeah, but that's
something. When we get together.
Yes, that is so true.
All right,
because,
guys, continue the conversation. I'll continue to listen. I forgot to make another contribution. I'll come
sure,
back
you'll be
welcome.
Namesake, you'll be welcome. You know what I observed? You know what I observed to down at Port Zante is that the persons who perform security at Port Zante at times select what problems they want to deal with down there and allow certain problems to flourish. Right? And that is something that we need to look into. If the police and the security were to deal with the issues at hand at times properly, sometimes we won't have certain issue to deal with.
We got an example?
For example, the price cutting, as you guys just said, it's against the law officially to cut somebody's price. But the police, it happened.
Really?
Yes, it is. It happened right in front of the police, and they does nothing about it. A matter of fact,
what remit do they have?
I would.
What instructions do they have?
It's in the law. So that's the next thing I think that we have a problem with. We have police officers working at Port Zante and not familiar with the policy, what's it called, the Tourist Prescribed Area Act.
Okay, you're going to get pushback from drivers who will tell the police, as long as I'm not overcharging, which is illegal.
No, both of them are illegal.
It's free, open enterprise.
Undercharging is cutting price.
It's open enterprise, it's competition.
No. It is.
And when a police is faced with that argument, what does he or she do? I'm just trying to figure.
If you're familiar with I don't have it in front of me, but if you're familiar with the Prescribed Act, it tells you about price cutting.
Okay.
It speaks about it, right? And that's one thing I think that yes, they don't leave the ticket book and they get a ticket for parking in the airline, but the price cutting is what sometimes causes the main problem sometimes at Port Zante, the excess noise in a public place.
That's at the front that you were talking about.
So if they deal with the excess noise, the price cutting will have a better and more controls.
When the tourism authority would put the barriers and extend them down so you find we're not as close to the exit as possible, there's pushback on it. Right? And
yes.
then the vendors down there saying by putting the barriers in a certain area, it affects their business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole lot of things. And there are times when we get the impression that they're catering for the vendors.
Yes. If you move the garbage pan from one area and put it in next, still garbage in it.
So you say you have some solution for that?
But that we're gonna discuss this some more, of course. I have something to put on
recommendations to them, or just take what they bring to us as a policy?
No.
We have to be part of the discussion that we're saying.
Yes.
All right.
And they must understand that just saying that. At the meeting at the Marriott, you could remember at the meeting at the Marriott, when the minister said specifically there'll be no soliciting on Port Zante, right? And she even recommended that you can take them off of Port Zante into the street and go with them, but that was not discussed with us.
But I would say that being around for some time, as you have, we've seen the various administrations struggle with how to deal with that. Some methods have been a bit strong-handed. It didn't work. Because at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to the voting. You don't want to disenfranchise certain people or tick off certain people because, they're supporters of your administration. That has happened.
Socrates, I think we should get back to the Uber, situation.
Okay.
Right?
Uber it is. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so we need to deal with the Uber situation in a proper way. Right? Are people proposing that there's some kind of Uber? There's no Uber situation. I understand somebody was given a business license. In fact, they should never been given a business to perform something illegal. I mean, I'm calling upon the Attorney General to look into this. Because it's something serious. I mean, you're breaking the law.
Expound, go ahead. I'm with
you.
you.
Yeah, you're breaking the law because a private vehicle doesn't have the right to take anybody for hire or reward. You're not covered by insurance. And once you're not covered by insurance, it's an infringement in the law.
So what is the remit of the Transportation Board?
Well, that is just getting up and running. That is something we'll have to look into. It was brought up at the last meeting.
Mm-hmm. Are you a member?
Yes, I am.
So talk to us.
As I say, it was brought up in the last meeting, but we need to have a follow-up meeting to discuss it in more detail.
So you can't see what the position is on it at this point?
As far as we're concerned, there's no Uber, It's something that should not be around or should not exist. As far as the discussion we had, but not for me to get into the details because we didn't discuss it in details more, but it was brought up.
But you want to discuss it now as the president, not a member of the board?
Exactly, as a taxi operator, because my members will have come to me as a taxi operator.
Trent, let's go downtown one more time because we're sneaking up on the middle hour, and Mr. Matthew may want to dash. If you want to stay on after, that's great. But let's go downtown one more time and then come back and let Mr. Matthew continue with the Uber issue.
It's TDC for me, TDC for we. Neighbor, partner, your family. The best is yet to come, believe me. Moving forward, moving with. Hey, TDC certain nation with the best customer experience. TDC, you are the one for we. Happy anniversary.
Together we succeed, building on strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices, Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty, Rams is always here. We are community, we are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me. Are you ready for the summer? Need a plan like no other. Stay connected when you're on the go.
Sign up for internet and get 1 month free, plus a chance to pay $0 for the rest of the year. Plus, get a chance to win free data, gas vouchers, $500 cash weekly, grocery vouchers, Fed tickets, and more.
Switch over to Flow.
Saying good morning to Mr. Alfonso Bridgewater and Dr. Leader up there as we continue with the debate here on Voices. Mr. What your first name again?
Leroy.
Mr. Yatas.
Leroy Matthews.
President of the St. Kitts Association in the hot chair, and he's brought some issues to share with the public. Mr. Matthew, we have about 6 minutes before the media newscast, so it's all yours.
Yeah, I just wanted again to remind the members of the St. Kitts Taxi Association that we'll be having a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock at the Shadwell Church Hall. And we have some good things to discuss, so please be there on time and try to make an effort. Be there. The way forward for the taxi fraternity is strength in numbers, unity. You know, the associations has been working hard. We have been attending a lot of meetings to discuss not only new policies but positive changes. We also has been in collaboration with other stakeholders in terms of getting our own business, and that is one of the challenges that we will face. And we would have made some effort to get our own business from the cruise ship. You know, once that is done, we could start to put other things in place, you know, and we can help more taxi drivers, put more incentive in terms of joining the association and make people feel proud to be taxi drivers and St. Kitts, you know. I encourage taxi drivers to, when they're working, to be professional. Keep your vehicle clean, do the right thing, speak to this properly. If you have a problem, sometimes you don't have to deal with the problem in front of the guests. You can.
Somebody want to talk to you. Take a call.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good day, caller. Are you there? Okay. So let's call it. Go ahead.
So, you know, I'm just encouraging taxi drivers to be more positive and take your business very serious. You know, a lot of people, we were told on a number of occasions that how much taxi drivers or how many taxi drivers they have waiting to come in. You know, as if sometimes I wonder if they reminding you, be careful, otherwise we're bringing somebody to take your place at times. So safeguard your jobs. You know, be professional, do what you have to do. Okay?
Any projections on the upcoming season in terms of the numbers of ships, the calls, etc.?
At this point, actually, I was supposed to get a copy of the new cruise ship season
schedule
coming up, but unfortunately, I didn't get a copy as yet. I understand, however, we might have a little bit less ship.
What is it? A little more or less?
Well, I understand. You try, it's a little local.
A little less.
A little less.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ships than what we normally have. But it might be more bigger ships arriving. So in terms of, it will make up for the lesser amount arriving.
Not based on what I overheard.
Mm-hmm.
They have bigger ships, yes, but more pre-book.
More pre-book.
Increasing numbers in the pre-books.
Pre-book. So that is where we need to be, on the pre-book end. That's what I was just saying about. We're working together to get on the pre-book end, because that's the way forward, you know.
So less ships, larger ships, more pre-books.
More pre-book.
Okay, that's the reality on the ground. You have another caller? No? Okay.
You could probably see the person can call back. You have a few more minutes?
Yeah, we got about 3 minutes. If the person can get back in on the conversation, that'll be great. But the mic is yours still. You bought a number of things. You got 3 minutes. It's all yours.
Well, for me, the king, you know, I'll just continue what I was about to left off and saying that let's be positive about this industry. It's a good industry. You meet a lot of people. We are ambassadors of this country, irrespective of what some people may say at times and how they may treat us. Okay? We, the drivers, is who have been selling this country for many years. We have been selling this country. You know, would have driven people who say, hey, just because of you, I'm coming back.
Do you think you get the respect from the tourism authority and other bodies?
I think we have the respect of the tourism authority. Just some individuals within the area may be different.
I'm just asking from your perspective.
Yeah. I think that's a tricky question.
How tricky question? If you think you get the respect from the,
when we have a consultation meeting and they say when they're training people, they remind us that we're ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you wonder if they
remind you of your role.
Yeah.
And your obligation.
And sometimes you wonder if the way they treat you,
mm-hmm.
if you're really ambassador, you know. But let's see what goes
forward.
But generally,
we
are.
You get the
I am.
Okay.
You know, I'm here to sell my country to bring more people back to St. Kitts. You know, so everybody can benefit, not just me, the vendors, the shopkeepers. You know, we buy gas, we buy oil, we buy vehicles. Yeah, it's a big
drive
industry.
of the economy.
Yeah, and we need to take it serious and be treated better.
At 1:59, we have a caller. I don't think we can entertain. We have to break for the midday, the Win FM midday newscast. And we won't want to cut that person off. Mr. Matthew leaves after this, but I may be able to entertain the questions. You know, if I can't, I'll call him and he can feed me the answer. It's any question. But at this point in time, we do have to break for the Win FM's midday newscast, and we will see you on the other side. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribbean.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Yolana Weeks.
Our top stories.
20 students in St. Kitts and Nevis to obtain NVQ upon completion of Level 1 courses. Disaster official Jack Ngumbar prepares faith-based institutions in St. Kitts for the launch of a monthly hazard campaign.
Trinidad diplomat takes over the presidency of the United Nations General Assembly. Belize granted US $7 million loan to sustainably expand its blue economy internationally. Ex-Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio jailed for 22 years for Capitol riot.
Now the details.
The Advanced Vocational Education Center, AVEC, hosted an orientation ceremony to commence the St. Kitts and Nevis National Vocational Qualification NVQ Level 1 courses in General Cosmetology and Commercial Food Preparation. The 2023-2024 academic year commenced on Monday, September 4, and 20 students signed up for the courses, which will prepare them for a professional career in their respective fields. Dr. Courtney Thompson, CEO of the St. Kitts Nevis Technical and Vocational Education and Training Council Secretariat, gave the students a preview of the courses and the qualifications to be issued.
You're going to be getting a certification that puts you on par with your colleagues across the region. You'll be getting a national vocational qualification of St. Kitts and Nevis. So far, no one has put on the of St. Kitts and Nevis, but that is actually what it's called. Now, you're doing a level 1 course, which is the first in 5 different levels. Level 1 is just the first step. We are level 2, 3, 4, and 5. But those levels are going to determine by your level of competency and your ability to operate independently. So over the next 12 to 15 weeks, you're going to be trained. That's going to determine your competency level. So at the end, when you walk out of this training with that certificate and go see an employer, you can say, I can do this. I could actually braid here. I can actually dye here. I can actually cook. And you'll have a list of areas. You see, when you go to college, you have transcripts that have courses. You'll have a transcript. It's going to have listed on the transcript some units. And those units are going to tell what you're capable of doing.
The National Vocational Qualification is offered in several countries across the region. However, Dr. Thompson said the goal in St. Kitts and Nevis is also to make available Caribbean Vocational Qualifications CVQ at a later time, which would allow holders to move freely across the region. Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Lisa Pistana, pledged the ministry's support to the students.
As educators, we believe in lifelong learning. That means no matter how old you are, there's always something to learn. No matter how young you are, there's always something to learn. And therefore, learning is critical to your development. You have our support. We're here to support you. We're here to support this program. We're here to support this school. And we're excited about the transition that we're seeing in this institution.
The Ministry of Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs, in collaboration with the St. Kitts and Nevis Christian Council, Evangelical Association, and Seventh-day Adventist Churches, hosted a breakfast meeting at the Bird Rock Beach Hotel on August 31 to discuss the faith-based monthly hazard campaign. Making a presentation at the meeting, Jack Ngumber, Deputy Director at the Nevis Disaster Management Agency, said church leaders should become more involved in disaster preparedness and recovery efforts so as to ensure that all communities are better prepared to face the challenges of natural disasters. Faith-based institutions were encouraged to focus on the following objectives: identifying significant hazards, steps to take before, during, and after a hurricane, discussing disaster plans and contingencies, risk profiling of church buildings and members' residences, establishing a comprehensive disaster database system, and developing a faith-based communications plan. The communications plan should be done in print, audio, and visual formats, and should also include training, outreach, creatives, and drills, Ngumber advised. Hazards and vulnerability in St. Kitts and Nevis are categorized into two sections, natural and man-made. As such, the Nevis Disaster Management Department launched a monthly hazard campaign in which faith-based institutions in Nevis were invited to raise awareness of specific hazards and strengthen a culture of safety. January, earthquake, Wesleyan Holiness Church. February, landslide, Ebenezer Pentecostal Church of Christ. March, tsunami, Seventh-day Adventists. April, volcano, Church of God of Prophecy. May, drought, Eden Brown Church of God. June, hurricane, Methodist Church. July, excessive heat, Shiloh Baptist Church. August, coastal erosion, Anglican Church. September, flood, New Testament Church of God. October, comprehensive disaster management for all churches. November, storm surge, Legacy International. December, fire, MAS Chapel and the Center. Speaking to WINFM on Tuesday, September 5, 2023, Mr. Ngumber stated, quote, "In times of crisis, when chaos and confusion reign, people turn to those they trust. Faith-based organizations have long been pillars of stability in their communities, possessing a unique set of strengths that make them essential in emergencies. From established networks to a sense of unity and trust, these organizations are perfectly positioned to relay critical information and provide much-needed support in trying times. Their ability to mobilize volunteers quickly and provide spiritual guidance only adds to their value. In short, when disaster strikes, we need the power of faith on our side." End quote. Ngumber further told WinFM that the meeting at Bird Rock Beach Hotel was hosted to prepare faith-based institutions in St. Kitts for the launch of a similar monthly hazard campaign in 2024.
In regional news, Trinidad diplomat takes over the presidency of the United Nations General Assembly. Belize granted US $7 million loan to sustainably expand its blue economy and more from Carib Update.
Ambassador Dennis Francis has been elected as the next president of the UN General Assembly. Francis, the longest-serving ambassador of his Caribbean nation, takes over the presidency at the start of the 78th session of the Assembly in September and will preside over the annual gathering of world leaders later that month. Francis was elected by acclamation with a bang of the gavel and loud applause. He will succeed Szabolcs Korosi of Hungary, a diplomat for nearly 40 years who was highly praised by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The 193-member world body has been at the forefront of the United Nations condemnation of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and is a key venue for all countries to tackle urgent issues from growing global poverty and inequality to climate change. Political leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots in Trinidad and Tobago, Watson Duke, is extending an olive branch to Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, calling on him to reconcile their differences for the benefit of Tobagonians. He was speaking at a press conference on Wednesday. Duke said his sixth open letter to Augustine, asking him to meet and lay down a blueprint for the change Tobago desperately needs. In September 2022, Duke resigned as deputy political leader of the Tobago House of Assembly after a public spat with Augustine over funds for a Tobago cultural group in New York. Soon after, the entire THA executive resigned from the PDP. Augustine later launched the Tobago People's Party. He reminded Augustine that the principal aim is to better the lives of Tobagonians. He said the time is right to discuss unity and focus on the urgent need of Tobago. And 2 years after being slapped with a $20 million default judgment and filing a series of appeals in a bid to evade payment to former government minister Annette Ferguson, whom he had defamed, Guyana's Vice President Bharat Jagdeo has found himself back to having to honor that initial ruling, and whatever award for damages will be imposed against him for libel. According to reports, Guyana Court of Appeal on Monday dismissed motions which Jagdeo had filed against the initial High Court order. Further, the Court of Appeal has ordered that the matter be remitted to Justice Sandra Cortius to award damages for libel. A date is now to be fixed for the case to be called again before Justice Cortius. The Inter-American Development Bank on Monday says it has approved a $7 million loan to help Belize sustainably expand its blue economy. The IDB loan has a 25-year repayment period and a 5.5-year grace period. The Washington-based financial institution said that the program's overall objectives are to increase the earning potential of artisanal fishers and keep fishery exports high while promoting sustainable use of the country's commercial marine resources. The bank said that the Belize government demonstrated its commitment to this project. It said the loan is designed to strengthen the government's capacity to sustainably manage Belize's economical important commercial fish species like conch, lobster, and finfish. It will also help prompt the country's artisanal fishers to adopt sustainable and climate-resilient technologies. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pear has taken a strong stance against the United Workers' Party, accusing them of attempting to undermine his leadership and sow chaos in the country. His comments came in response to his recent rejection of recommendations from opposition leader Alan Shastney to address pressing issues such as crime. During the weekly cabinet press briefing, Prime Minister Pear expressed his frustration with the UWP's approach to offering suggestions. Pear's refusal to accept the opposition's recommendations has escalated tensions between the government and the UWP, with the Prime Minister accusing the opposition of seeking chaos under his leadership. Pear also accused the UWP of spreading propaganda and attempting to tarnish the reputation of St. Lucian nationals by linking them to a mass shooting in St. Vincent in July. He labeled these actions as highly irresponsible and part of the UWP's strategy to create chaos, disorder, disunity, and confusion in the country following their election defeat in 2021. Shell Trinidad and Tobago's national gas company are close to agreeing to credit Venezuela's state-run oil firm for its $1 billion investment in a gas field the three want to jointly develop, 4 people close to the discussion said. If agreed, the move could help speed a long-stalled offshore development. The U.S. in January granted Venezuela's PDVSA, Shell, and NGC a 2-year authorization to revive the project, which could boost Trinidad and Tobago's gas processing and exports. Negotiations between the trio initially had progressed little over a U.S. demand that the proposed Dragon Gas project exclude cash payments to Venezuela or its state companies. That remains a hurdle, though Trinidad has asked the Biden administration to reconsider.
We now bring you these international reports.
A court in Washington has jailed the former leader of the far-right Proud Boys group for 22 years for his part in the storming of the U.S. Congress. The sentence given to Enrique Tarrio is the longest of any of the hundreds convicted of involvement in the Capitol riot of January 2021, when supporters of then U.S. President Donald Trump stormed the congressional building as lawmakers met to certify Joe Biden's election victory. Mr. Tarrio was not in Washington during the riot, but helped organise the far-right group's involvement. His lawyers said he plans to appeal. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes has more on the significance of the sentence.
This is the longest sentence of all of the Proud Boys sent to prison over the last 4 days. There were 4 people at the end of last week, and now we have this sentence for what the judge described as the ultimate leader of the conspiracy, the leader of the Proud Boys, the person who was really at the centre of the conspiracy, the organisational centre of that assault of the US Capitol. He and others from the Proud Boys really shortly after the 2020 election, during that period before January the 6th, when there was a lot of uncertainty over what was going to happen, but he and others were sending out social media messages online threatening that there would be violence if Donald Trump left office. And then on the day, as you say, he wasn't actually in Washington. That's because he'd been stopped by the police 2 days earlier in possession of high-capacity ammunition, which is against the law in Washington, D.C. He was given bail, but he was ordered out of the city. So he was actually in Baltimore on January the 6th. He was watching events unfold at a distance, no doubt watching it on television, but again posting messages in social media encouraging those rioters as they entered the capital, at one stage leaving a message that said, "Enjoying the show."
Harry Littman is a former Deputy Assistant Attorney General for the Department of Justice and host of the Talking Feds podcast. He gave us his reaction to the sentencing.
I think the judge thought of Tarrio as the field general, notwithstanding that he wasn't in the field. But what really convicted him, and the jurors talked about this, was all the social media, both right after the election, but the very sort of specific, almost logistical command that he was overseeing from Baltimore. This will be the most serious sentence, I think, that we're going to see. They've now kind of tried all the leaders of the various marauders, especially Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Proud Boys, I think, with today's verdict and the other 4 year correspondent referred to, have been basically decimated. And this is, the United States went for even longer. The judge did say, I think this guy is a terrorist. I'm enhancing the sentence based on that. He didn't go to 30 years because he thought that would overstate guilt, but he obviously saw him as very guilty and actually repentant only in sort of half measure. Tarrio said things about how it was a shame and it shouldn't have happened that day, but he wasn't contrite to the same degree and to the same personal terms that others have been.
Overnight, one person was killed by Russian drone attacks in the Izmail region in the Odessa part of Ukraine. Now, this is according to the regional governor, who also said the nighttime attacks in the south of the country lasted 3 hours and that port and agricultural infrastructure was damaged as a result. The war in Ukraine has been one in which technology has played a central role. And now, in an exclusive interview, the Ukrainian Security Services version of the MI5, obviously, has revealed how it uses artificial intelligence and drones in a daily high-tech battle with its Russian enemy, whilst also fighting off cyber attacks. Our security correspondent Gordon Carrera reports now from Kiev.
Alongside trenches and artillery, Ukraine's war has been one of drones and hackers. And that's led Ukraine's security service to move its teams to the front lines. Here they direct a kamikaze drone to strike a camera being used to track Ukrainian troop movements. In an exclusive interview, the man in charge of cybersecurity and technology for the security service reveals they also hack into Russian cameras to collect intelligence.
Using artificial intelligence, we penetrate their surveillance cameras on the occupied territories, and we understand the movement of the troops, this information being analyzed, and we understand which type of military and weapons they are about to use, on what direction.
The security service also uses artificial intelligence to track down those responsible for war crimes, like here in Bucha.
We use artificial intelligence as well, facial recognition, yes, so we get the information from cameras, from pictures, and then we understand who was exactly guilty in different war crimes conducted by Russian troops, who was the possible spotter, who was the possible traitor. So this is also a usage of artificial intelligence, and we have thousands of people that we've found exactly who they were.
Technology has been at the heart of this conflict from the start. In the opening days of the war, Russian missiles hit Kyiv's main TV tower.
Last year, the Russians attacked this tower. They were trying to deprive Ukrainians of access to truthful information and destroy the infrastructure.
The missile attack was accompanied by a cyber attack on the same facility. Since then, as Victor Zora, the man in charge of cyber defense, shows me, the pace of cyber attacks has been relentless.
So these are serious incidents. What is rate high and critical? But it's every day you're basically something's happening. Yeah. You don't have any days off. We don't have days off.
It's often said that wars spur on innovation, and this conflict has been no exception. What we've seen here in Ukraine is an incredible pace by which new technologies have been adopted.
Nowhere has the pace of innovation been clearer than drones. In a location we've been asked to keep secret, operators are taught not so much how to fly the drones as how to stay alive themselves. Risks are increasing as they move closer to the fighting.
Right now, the distance is getting shorter and shorter and shorter because of enemies' jamming systems.
Hackers and drone operators are now on the front lines, with both sides knowing that technology could give them a vital edge in a hard-fought war. Gordon Carrera, BBC News, Ukraine.
In Japan's Miyagi Prefecture, just north of Fukushima, researchers like Akira Matsumoto are working to help the country quell marine safety concerns. Since Japan began releasing treated water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant into the sea last month, the researchers have been testing fish from the area every day that the weather allows. They work on collecting a radioactive isotope called tritium from the fish samples to measure the level of radiation. Matsumoto says he believes full disclosure of the test results is crucial.
We are conducting the tests and releasing the results properly so it can help people feel assured.
The results are published on the website of Japan's fishery agency. So far, it's reported no fish with detectable levels of tritium. But the reputation of Japan's fishing industry has taken a hit since the release of the treated water, a move strongly opposed by neighboring countries. China has currently suspended imports of all aquatic products from Japan. Local wholesalers at a bustling fishing market in Sendai City, just under 70 miles north of the stricken nuclear plant, hope the testing can help rebuild customer confidence. Katsufumi Ishimori is the vice president of the Sendai Suisan Company.
I don't want people to question whether we should eat the seafood which China has completely banned. That's why we post the daily test results at the market, to show that it's safe.
TEPCO, the operator of the wrecked plant, filters most radioactive elements out of the water. But tritium is instead diluted because when it exists in the form of tritiated water, it is difficult to separate from water. Here's University of Portsmouth professor Jim Smith, who studied the impact of radiation on aquatic life around the site of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster.
Because it's chemically identical to ordinary water, and so it passes through organisms like ordinary water, which doesn't biomagnify.
Smith says that means the tritiated water won't accumulate in the bodies of fish, unlike other radioactive substances, and will stay at same level as the waters around the fish. But he cautioned that the concentration of tritium in the water being released is not yet at the maximum planned level. The release of the first batch of treated water, equivalent to about 3 Olympic pools, will take about 17 days. Estimates show it would take about 30 years to release it all.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines?
20 students in St. Kitts and Nevis to obtain NVQ upon completion of Level 1 courses. Disaster official Jack Ngumber prepares faith-based institutions in St. Kitts for the launch of a monthly hazard campaign.
Trinidad diplomat takes over the presidency of the United Nations General Assembly. Belize granted US $7 million loan to sustainably expand its blue economy. Internationally, ex-Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio jailed for 22 years for Capitol riot. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
when it comes to the important things in life: your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider. Only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Delisle Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Hurricane season can be unpredictable, but your business doesn't have to be. In the face of adversity, you need a partner that goes above and beyond. Choose the path of resilience and certainty with C&W Business. Through disaster recovery as a strategy solution, C&W Business will safeguard your critical data, maintain seamless communication channels, and help you bounce back faster than ever before. Visit our website, cwcbusiness.com/myopenbusiness to learn more. Remember, a safe business is an open business.
Shallow, low-level patches embedded within a moderate trade wind flow will continue to traverse the area and maintain a moderate chance of shower activity over and around the islands during the next 24 hours. Today, partly cloudy skies in general with a 50% or moderate chance of brief passing showers. Tonight, fair to partly cloudy skies with a 40% or moderate chance of brief overnight showers. Sunset today will be at 6:21 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 5:58 a.m. That's your weather forecast for today, which came to the kind compliments of CW Business.
Hurricane season can be unpredictable, but your business doesn't have to be. In the face of adversity, you need a partner that goes above and beyond. Choose the path of resilience and certainty with C&W Business. Through disaster recovery as a strategy solution, C&W Business will safeguard your critical data, maintain seamless communication channels, and help you bounce back faster than ever before. Visit our website, cwcbusiness.com/myopenbusiness to learn more. Remember, a safe business is an open business.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The sound. I want to say good afternoon to our viewers and listeners who are with us this morning. Welcome to the second half of today's presentation of Voices. You're logged on to Win FM 98.9 on the FM dial. And I want to start this segment with an article I saw in one of the news outlets. And it reads, the caption, Dr. Timothy Harris' legacy inspires reduction on dialysis costs by Prime Minister Dr. Drew, but I'll read this salient point. It reads, in an announcement today, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew of St. Kitts and Nevis has followed in the footsteps of his predecessor, the esteemed third Prime Minister. Okay, and we go down to, by slashing hemodialysis costs by 50%, reducing fees from 800 to 400. Prime Minister Drew has unveiled his government's decision to continue this legacy by further reducing hemodialysis service fees by 50%, bringing the cost down to a mere 200. This move coincided with the JNF Hospital's celebration of the anniversary of its hemodialysis unit. Health Minister Drew emphasized the cost reduction will provide much needed financial relief to patients who depend on these vital services, reflecting our paramount concern for people's well-being. The takeaway I want to emphasize on is the cost reduction to people. I have a family member, and I know they to approach the government by then, the former government, for assistance, because the cost for treatment 3 times weekly for that family member was very high, and they got it down to 400, which was half of what they were charging at the time. It was 800 per session, 3 times per week for a poor working class family is no easy task. So when it was now it's now reduced to 400 slashed by 50%, you're paying 200 weekly. That's going from 1,200 monthly to 600. Sorry, 12 weekly to 600. Give me a second. Oh boy, just have to call it back. So yes, I think that's fundamentally important, and that information would be welcomed by the family members and the folks who have to attend and go through that this situation some 3 times weekly in order to stay healthy. So the cost of hemodialysis treatment has been reduced from 800 per session to 4, and further slash. Well, when it was 800, you paid 50% of that, which was 400. It's now being reduced to 400. You're now paying $200 per session. Still a daunting task for, as I would say, working class family members. But I think in any context, it's a much welcome relief. Much welcome relief. And I'm happy for the folks who are able to benefit from that. It's a life-saving treatment that the folks who are on that 3 times weekly dialysis cannot do without at that stage of renal failure. And so I'm happy to have read that. The lines are open. I'm all by my lonesome. You know what I mean? Culture hasn't called. Sister Henry hasn't called. You know what I mean? So 6620989, 4609897, 6620988 gets you in on the conversation. Chris Collins, what's for lunch? Another matter I want to read. Let's see if we can find it. It's extreme weather. It's on the caption of extreme weather. And if I may read, it says the world has just experienced the hottest summer on record. According to a report from the European Union of Copernicus Climate, I'll get it right, Change Service, data shows the planet experiences hottest June followed by the hottest July, as triple-digit heat seared parts of the U.S. and popular global travel destinations. July and August were also estimated to have been 1.5 degrees warmer than pre-industrial levels, a key threshold scientists have long warned the world must stay under to prevent the most catastrophic impacts of climate changes. Meanwhile, the high temperatures warming the Atlantic Ocean are fueling another potentially dangerous hurricane. Tropical storm Lee is expected to rapidly intensify and could impact the Leeward Islands of the Caribbean by this weekend. I mentioned earlier we are actually in the midst of the Atlantic hurricane season. There is a system heading from home, heading from Africa to the region, and I'll recap a bit of it. It says scientists have long warned the world must be under a certain threshold. The most catastrophic impact of climate changes. Meanwhile, the high temperatures warming the Atlantic Ocean are fueling another potentially dangerous hurricane. Tropical storm Lee is expected to rapidly intensify and could impact the Leeward Islands of the Caribbean by this weekend. Okay, so guys, we normally give out what information we have in terms of the weather updates. There's a strong possibility that Hurricane Lee may be impacting the Leeward Islands as soon as this weekend. This is Wednesday, and the weather, we've had some heat waves, and we normally associate that with systems that are developing and forming, and may or may not develop it to hurricane strength. But we can pay. I don't want to say Russian roulette. Anyway, the phone lines are open, and we have a caller, so let's see what this caller have to contribute. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
Hi, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. Yep.
You read out 2 articles there, and I must say the first one, anything financial, we applaud it, we welcome it, in terms of
the reduction in the cost of dialysis treatment.
Yes, and so yes, and so we applaud it. We applaud the Prime Minister for
definitely
whatever might have influenced him too. Except to say that the timing is timely, and so whether we intend to do things or some event might expedite it, we welcome it. So I just wanted to just say about the timing, because we have heard the former Prime Minister's voice on a program just a few nights ago, Monday night. So yeah.
Certainly.
Yes. So that said, please permit me to present what I wanted to present.
You may.
You have certain programs, and I like to follow the train of thought of whatever issue or whatever content are there, and I will chime in, but I would ask your permission now to go into something else. Can I?
Go ahead, sir. We don't have the calls on the line, so it's all yours. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm going to try to do it in a quick time. Okay, the King. For the longest, we have seen concerted efforts by our past. Have you ever heard about the past, the present, and the future?
Somewhere along the line.
Yes. But it's only the past that is complete. The present is a work in progress, and the future is just a thought of the imagination. Okay? So let's concentrate on the past. In 1963, the Organization of African Unity was formed, and that emanated out of 2 groups. It had the Casablanca group. Casablanca happened to be the capital of Morocco, and the Monrovia group. Monrovia is the capital of Liberia, West Africa. And out of these 2 groups, they had the different schools of thought. One was formed in, I think, is 1960, and one was formed in 1961. At that time, Algeria wasn't a part of it. Algeria gained their independence in 1962. But the Casablanca group took a position to support the Algerian Liberation Front. Well, we have seen a lot of things that is emanating on the continent today, trying to shock off the shockers of France for a long time. Because a lot of countries gained their independence from France, but yet it seems like they were independent, but they was not still independent. We have seen a slew of coup d'etats. Some might be revolutionary, some might be for the liberation, some might be not be. The Gabon coup was the last one. And the Gabon coup, all experts are saying that it's only a change of the guard. Ali Bongo, he was there, he got a stroke. And here come his successors, wanted to fill the void, put him out of the way in a sort of a way. Because you see, some coups might be copycat, some coups might be different. There was a coup in 1966 that toppled Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. Also, there was a coup in 1974 that toppled the administration of Haile Selassie, Emperor Haile Selassie in Ethiopia. And the slew of coups and coups and coups. The Casablanca coup, the Casablanca group was only a group of 7, like Abdul Nasser, Kwame Nkrumah, King Hussein of Morocco, and others. Toure of Guinea, and so forth. So there were these 7 signatories with the Casablanca, and there were the others, a lot of others who have gained their independence with the Monrovia group. That Monrovia group is morphed with another group that was called the Brazzaville group. Brazzaville is the capital of the Congo. The Congo Brazzaville, not the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kinshasa. There are 2 or 3 Congos, depending on how we look at them, including Gabon. There was a big, vast Congo empire. And so when all of these amalgamations started, come the 1963, when Addis Ababa, Emperor Haile Selassie, helped from trying to bring these brothers together, the different schools of thought. Because Kwame Nkrumah said, unity now, Africa now. Let's have a united Africa with one president. The others said, no, let's take it slow. And as a result of taking it slow, this is where we are.
Okay.
I am saying the authority of the African Union, because it's our ancestors is who initiated it. And they are no longer here, because they are in the past. And it's only the past that is complete. I am saying that because of that slogan, and I allow those guys who want to fight off the shackles of France, but they cannot disrupt the status, the upper cat, with the unification of Africa. They will gain their independence. They might be outside of the purview of the African Union. They have to come back into the fold, because there's a tremendous work that went into the African Union, and people feel like the African Union is moving too slow. The silencing of the guns was one of the things. And President Ruto, William Ruto of Kenya, made the point of what is going to be colonialism or coup d'etats. Coup d'etats could mean good, and coup d'etats could mean bad.
But the one in Gabon is not the same as the one in Niger.
It's not
the interests are another line.
Because France now realize that coup d'etat is the way to go, and let us move out the old guard like Ali Bongo, who is almost crippled. He cannot function in government, and let us put a fresh face. Who is the general, the guy? Ali Bongo's cousin. So here it is. It's still France. Yep. Because it comes in this subtle way of wanting to assert themselves in a different formation. And so whereas some of the people might feel good about it, it's still the subtle France. And so this is where I'm saying that the Casablanca could say unity now. The others say no. Because remember, some of those countries was gaining their independence, and they want to feel like,
interest.
I am the president. They want to feel comfortable. I'm the president. Why am I going to turn over my presidency to one president?
Okay.
And then there was this one last thing. There was this letter. It was an imaginary letter written by the lady, Jacob Zuma's wife, saying, Kwame Nkrumah, you was so right. You was so right. You was so
He came
correct.
late.
Because he
came very late.
Yes, because he was the leader of the Casablanca group, and initially he would have become the first president of Africa, the whole of Africa. And she wrote this imaginary letter and said, Kwame Nkrumah, you was so right. You was so right. Sorry, Kwame, that we did not listen to your wise advice at that time. So this is all where it comes. So unification. I am all for it, and there are different schools of thought, but the bottom line is unity. Okay?
Gotcha.
But it's only the past that is complete. Where in the present, there's a work in progress, and the future is just a thought of the imagination. Thanks for listening.
Okay, we're really hopeful for a much better future in terms of what's happening on the continent. The whole issue between Italy and France right now is not because the far right government is really concerned about the fate of Africans on the continent. It's really because of the migrant situation. They feel that what France is doing in Africa is encouraging migration, and they want Italy to take all the migrants, and they say, no, Get out to France, get out to Africa, stop exploiting the country, and Africans will stay there and better themselves. We go back to the phone lines, call you live on Voices.
Good afternoon, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about now?
I'm doing good.
All right, let's hear you.
Now, we have a common enemy, the King. And yes, we have had coups before in the past where our leaders were assassinated, and we are now having these bloodless coups.
Coups and counter coups.
Now, the King, recently, France have been expelled, and we have seen a repeat of what, similar to what they did in the 1960s, where when they asked for independence, what they did with the pipelines, with the concrete. And now, recently, we're seeing where they are destroying vehicles, and I don't know if they're going to take these destroyed vehicles that they have now, demolished. But I want to focus your attention on Mia Mottley's speech in Paris recently, where, for me, looking at our leaders when our leaders attend these forums, where when our leaders are at the United Nations or whatever, hardly anyone is there listening to them. Now, I'm seeing a change right now where when Mia Mottley speaks, she have an audience of powerful European and American politicians or leaders, world leaders. Now, she singled out some leaders, and she actually said to Emmanuel Macron while he was present, and these were her words, "Emmanuel Macron, I'm going to leave you for the last." And she said, how dare you summon us? Now, for me, the King, Mia Mottley was in Ghana. I see a female energy here that is untouchable. What do I mean by this? We're talking about coups that have happened in the past, and we know the common enemy hands who has been in the coup. And sadly, most of the coups also that, the internal enemy may have pulled the trigger or have carried out the act. Of our male leaders, well, they cannot touch this female energy here, the King. And they are listening. They are listening. Now, I have said before, let us question ourselves as to what they are saying behind our backs. Well, they're not even saying it behind our backs now, because, like I said, Joseph Borrell has made a public statement where he said Africans are easy targets. I was always like, okay, when I was reading these patterns, it's like, who the hell do he think he is? No, they're not saying it behind our back. They're saying it to our faces. Africans are easy targets. In order to combat climate change, African women need to have more abortions. But Mia Mottley have the attention. Where are we lending support to Mia Mottley? Where are we? Because the King...
By we, do you mean who? Other Caribbean leaders?
All of us globally, leaders and every African on this planet. Where are we? Because what is vibrating, the King? What is vibrating is our words. Our silence means that we are being complicit. We are okay with the system. Now, what is happening on these francophone countries? It's a spiritual movement. Let me repeat this. What is happening on the continent with the unity, it's a spiritual movement, the King. I was so happy with Mia Mottley. Now, there's an European at the climate summit in Kenya, Ursula, I can't remember her last name. I listened to her just 2 nights ago, where she is offering $150 billion to help combat climate change. For me, the the euro and the dollar is going to be crippled. Now they're coming to offer 100, and this is a drop in the bucket. This is an insult, in my opinion, the king. Because why she come with $150 billion? France is still raking $500 billion out of the continent annually. Now, where are our leaders in all this? Where are our voices, the king? Where is your voice? Because you know, king, you pay attention, you follow the trend. But you see, are we going to allow, when they come with their $150 billion, so that dangle in our eyes and say that, okay, they mean business? No. Some of our leaders are now saying, keep your money. Well, let them keep the money. Now, I'm saying to Ramaphosa that other African countries need to be a part of Brexit. Because in as much as Brexit has been formulated, the whole continent needs to be involved. They're trying to squeeze out Brazil. Other African countries need to be on board in this because the pie is on the continent. And for us down in these parts here, the king, who tend to say, we've been discussing minimum wage here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Last week, Sam Konder and his team was on. You see? Now, if we tap into our resources, you think we would be having a conversation about minimum wage? How can we do that? I want to have an appointment with the Prime Minister, the King, because if the federal money is there and I am entitled to it, give me a portion, whether in a loan, and let me go and invest on the continent. Because that money can come back in less than a year to pay back for the loan. Now, I'm saying less than a year, but really.
Okay, try to wrap it up for me, please.
According to what I would want to invest in, that money can turn over the king. So you see, I'm going to finish now, the king. We have Americans live here, and they build their homes, they buy condos through investment, and they would come down in the summer, in the winter to get away from the cold. But when they're absent, these condos are generating money for them. This is what I would like to do on the continent. So when people hear me say, oh, I want to visit the continent, I'm not telling anyone to pack up and leave. You can invest and have money turn over and make for you, even if you're not there on the continent. Are you following my drift, the king?
Yes, but you do have to wrap it up for me because I got to go to commercial break.
Okay, the king. I'll listen now for him. Thank
Much
you for
appreciated. Okay, and at this point in time, we do have to give credit to our sponsors. So take us downtown, Trent.
Here are your Horseman's Value Mart IGA specials.
Running August 24th to September 6th.
And during the month of September, the more you shop, the more you save.
You get double points on all meat and non-grocery items, so shop today.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tax specials. Bush's baked beans, $7.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Canned Fruits, $8.99. Fiora Bath Tissue, $20.99. Pepperidge Farm Layer Cakes, $19.99. Hot Pockets, $14.99. Quaker Captain Crunch Cereals, $13.79. And now, our very low weekly
value deals. Hunt's Ketchup, $4.99. Old Orchard Apple Juice, $9.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $10.99. Ama Toothpaste, $14.99. Essential Everyday Canned Dog Food, $8.99. Dial Soap Bars, $11.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart, and get double points rewards today. Value Mart!
Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is again giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back for free groceries with every hire purchase. Will be given back this coupon season. Happening now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back coupons to all our hire purchase customers this coupon season. Starting now until December 2023. You get absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase at our Horseman's Furniture and Appliances Appliances stores on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. So riddle this. Where can you get quality furniture and appliances at great prices with a flexible FlexPlay plan and with absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase? Riddle that. Cashback at Horseman Furniture and Appliances on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is giving you over $250,000 in cashback and a chance to win free groceries for a year. Riddle that cashback. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
At 4 minutes past 1 o'clock, we're back with the program. I'd like to thank Mr. Percy Hanley for the article he sent me about Mayor Motley's speech. I would have to listen and be able to give an opinion on that in great detail after. I'd like to read an article sent to me by young Mr. Fliati. It relates to what I read about the temperatures globally, how would you know. And he says, good day, King. Truth of the matter is temperatures will rise and rise and rise within the Caribbean and other small islands developing states. We are more susceptible due to our geographical makeup and location. The truth of the matter is no change will actually occur unless large nations that have all signed to this climate change initiative take immediate action. Aside from our unpreparedness for such a event like what the pandemic brought, it also brought to light the change is doable, achievable, because satellite imagery from that period showed some of the cleanest in the polluted areas in years. The Gandhi River in India run the cleanest it ever was in modern history, all due to the fact that the negative inputs from pollution, etc., these big corporations' policy during that time when we were shut down. Point taken. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices. Are you there? Okay, apologies. We may miss a caller. Okay. Are you there, caller? The tone says we lost it. The point this article is pointing out, during the time we were shut down, there was a reduced level of pollution. And so satellite imagery showed certain pockets on planet Earth where the pollution was not that prevalent. So the point is taken. It can be reversed. It's all down to man's ambition, his greed or whatever. He says, okay. For the phone lines, caller, you live on Voices. Good day, caller, you live on Voices.
Oh, good afternoon, King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about now?
It seems like the phone line giving a little problem because when as soon as you take up, a message cut in.
Okay.
And I hear but the message cut in with you talking.
Okay, we got you now, so let's hear you.
Eh?
We've got you now, so let's hear what you have to say.
Oh, King, listen to your comment earlier about the dialysis and
yes.
this the ordinary man and woman in St. Kitts. Oh,
it's a relief.
It's a relief, right?
It's more affordable at the moment, yeah.
Well, the King, any government get in office and they assist the people with whatever problem the country have, or the people have, whether with chemodialysis, whatever problem they had, maybe health problem, maybe problem
We're
to
grateful.
feed them,
We're grateful.
maybe problem to whatever, like the $500 every month, the poverty alleviation program, and all these things. We're supposed to be thankful and glad because that is where we elect government for.
Correct.
we let government, when they go in there, to see how they consist the ordinary man and woman, especially people who in the dire strain, who really want this help. We know some people, we know the system that they cheat. And sometimes when
Politics. I'm glad you're calling to weigh in this because I read the article, and I mean the person probably trying to get it also. But I'm glad for your response because people take these things for granted and you just gloss over. Well, government's supposed to do it. No, the people who are on the receiving end of these things are very, very happy because it's a cost.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you're taking the position that this is a good thing and the country as a whole should celebrate it.
Yes. Let me move on, King. That is something we're supposed to achieve because we are taxpayers in this country, and whatever the government benefits from, whether the CBI or whatsoever in our tax we pay, and something come back to us, we got to be proud of it. And I do not feel like government or whosoever to supposed to politicize these things. These things is not supposed to politicize because each government going to try. They try
very good point. Very good point.
Right, they try their best because I believe that under the farm administration, I believe that Dr. Harris with a unity try, but he ain't successfully work out with him and them who was around him, and they end up where they end up. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And some of these things where this government plan to do, Dr. Harris had all these things in place, like to get minimum wage. It was coming together.
Mm-hmm.
But the next thing again, right? Why it takes so long to get a committee to give the ordinary man and woman in this country a minimum wage, raise the minimum wage to maybe $500 or whatever. These is things that we got to question, and these is things that we got to ask. You understand? Because I living in this country, I am living in Africa. And if I could get about 10 acres of land right now to put my animals them on, I will tell you plain, I will be proud.
Have you applied?
I could be a small millionaire in this country.
Have you applied?
Eh?
Have you applied for the 10 acres of land that you request?
Well, me surrounded when me be now. No land there.
Okay.
When when the unity administration was there, I went into agriculture. I put in for land. They asked me with part land be. Well, I tell them one know some be. They tell me they'll get back to me and whatever, and nobody get back to me. But around in the area, boys, West Warm and Buckley's, all these areas around here. All of these areas get out. We cannot get no further land to maybe farm or nothing now.
Okay.
So anything we got to go further in the country, in the UL area, back in the country like Tempers, Willett, Dung Lambos, all them area down there.
Mm-hmm.
Who got a lot of land down there. You understand? Because you know, boys really separate.
I know.
If you're looking, you drive up to Fairview and drive past Duras and all them places, and you look up in the mountain. You see house all in the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And me animal and them same land. Up to this morning, a lady was complaining to me about me cattle coming in she yard and messing up she yard. Me ain't get nothing. I tell her I can try my best. Me tell her that she's supposed to fence she yard. I tell her I can try my best. That them control. Some people say that, eh?
I see the constraints that you're having. I see the challenge you're having.
I'm going to try my best.
Yeah. But you say you did apply, and they have to find areas where people like you can actually do your farming, your animal husbandry to help the economy overall.
Yeah. But let me tell you, right? If government, after government had planned, people like me and others would not suffer about the land who raise animal fan. But I do not believe they had no real plan, no agriculture, and no real plan about no livestock farming and all these things. just building house, all in the mountain, you build like a concrete jungle. You understand?
You do have to provide housing.
With 4 parents, I migrate to sink it, the ban is sink it. Me no want Africa go. When we go in Africa, I must tell me I'm animal in Africa. Go do if people talking about Africa.
That's a necessary conversation. I have no issue with that. Right? You focus on what you want to focus on. Others want to show interest to what's happening on the motherland. Not wrong with that.
The king. Let me tell you something, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to think about our own first and see our people set. Because you think Johnny them no people we got problem here. We got problem here right here in our country.
He's
you
not.
Know that we got problem here. He means he has a problem here. I'm sure you got problem with getting a job and all kind of thing too. Eh? These are things we got to look into our people. Eh? We got to look at who lead in our country. The people who lead in our country. Then we got to make them get account to what's really going on in government before we start to tackle African leaders in Africa and all them things there.
Well, he's got his point of view. You have yours. We have to respect that. Okay, so I won't have to. I'll just be the host at the moment. That's your point of view. He has his. The program is called Voices.
The king before, right? As I always say, right, from this unity concept, he taught me a lot in politics. He taught me a lot to the blind politics. And I always say who run this country, who elected and run this country, and the people them vote for, I respect. Whether they say they cheat or whether they do or not, I respect because the people them went to the poll and elect whosoever. Right now we're getting another cussing and abusing because and the way you're cussing on the politics right before. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand. And the same people who used to lambaste me, them is the same people who complaining to me.
Mm-hmm.
So much thing going on now when you're not calling and this and that. What's going on?
Well, that's what...
You just feel like a government. Give the government time.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like a government. Why I want them to?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I tell them. Give the government time. I just feel like a government, man. And the next thing, the thing before go. People, remember way back, right, in them times, Mr. Batcher them time, coming up to Dr. Simmons time, me never hear nobody power vote and all these things. These young guys tell me that they vote, and with election going on, the king, me see a lot of people buy different polling station because I was up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Young man, big woman, they wait. I said that they wait till the stash from
to get paid first before the vote, yeah.
Yeah, they want the money before they go vote.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay for your vote, when you got to wait till 5 years until the next election come, who go pay one next vote again. So what you arguing for? What you arguing for about government this and government that? You're not supposed to argue on for your vote.
It's supposed to go and bear it?
Yeah, you're going to bear it, yeah.
Politics, my God.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for your contribution, right?
Then, okay.
Singing Jennifer had a song some years ago called Mm-hmm. So when certain people came from overseas and asking about the political situation on the ground, she would just say, mm-hmm. That's what I found myself saying a while ago. Mm-hmm. Well, it's reality. People vote and they have certain expectations when they not realize in a certain time frame, of course. They express buyer's remorse, they talk, and I am being hit the same way people saying, how come you sing about this? And I say, mm-hmm. Have to take. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing about politics, the first law about politics is that change is constant. Everything changes. And if you cannot understand it, you got a problem. As I said, my team was in, they were batting, they messed up, they're out. Another team is batting. I am not. My thing is not to go in and just bash the team. My job is to see how best I can rebuild my team, right? So they can contest, the game. But for me to bash you because you're in and this and that, it was an election. It's a democratic process. There will always be a party in power. There will always be an opposition. But for me to take my little gray hair and turn them, what color again? Ashes? No. It's okay. Life goes on, okay? And so the lines are open for people who want to weigh in. I spoke about the reduction in price in the hemodialysis treatment at GNF. It's now gone from 400, which was half from 8. It's now at 4, and the PM has reduced it by 50% to 200. That is my takeaway from that particular article. And I know there are many who are happy with that financial relief. I'm told that the MRI is not yet up and running. They're working on that, but in the interim, this is what you have. For those who were referred to what we call the, well, down there in Estridge or Borea, that we call the monkey farm, I understand that the folks on vacations, this is a challenge also. But anyway, let's see what this caller have to contribute. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sister Henry. Always love your perspective. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I heard you calling my name.
Definitely.
A piece of old age settling.
That's okay. That's
I
all.
doze
That's all.
off.
You doze off. All right. Cool.
Yes. Once I good afternoon to the Ministry of the Aged and the Disabled. I was to go with them, but I said they
go with them where?
They should be at the Heroes Park.
National Heroes
I
Park?
told them, darling, to you say, listen, they say all people must stay inside with this heat.
Oh.
So I decided
But
to
if inside
forego.
is as hot as outside, because unless you have the fans or AC inside, according to the construction of the house, can be also very dangerous.
Well, I have a little AC. It's true enough. This morning I heard it when I said, Lord, thank you. It helped to take some of the heat out of the concrete.
Well, I heard you on Freedom Praying for Rain, so the prayers answered.
Yeah, and I'm still praying, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because of no rain, no water. No rain, no water.
No rain, no
can't
food.
even dig for a while in there.
No rain, no
And
food.
when you hear the cry in other countries, you say, Lord, all of us would have gone in.
Yep.
So we really need to implore God, have mercy on us. There's some storm passing to the north of us.
To the north, that's not bad. That's heading towards St. Martin area.
I think his name Lee.
Lee, yes.
Lord
Supposed
have
to
mercy on
form
thee and us.
by the weekend.
You know, the news could be, look, you go to our faith in God, you know, you listen to the news, you get depressed.
That is true.
You listen to the news on any station, you look at that choose the most frightening part. We had starvation coming in some countries, no rain for years. I mean, can you imagine that?
Sensationalism.
Hello?
Sensationalism. It sells papers.
Yeah, but some of it is facts, you know?
Of course it's factual.
Some countries, in Africa, other places, haven't had rain. I remember when I went to India, the first time I see dust or dirt pile up on leaves.
Wow.
I asked them how this happened. There was a tree right outside my window on this campus. And they said, well, we don't get rain until the monsoon. And so, you know, I said, what is this? I'd never seen leaves laden down with the dust.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, I reached in the Monday, and by the Wednesday I was hoarse. Pollution.
Yep. Humidity.
You could barely sit down the road, you know. You know, we take a lot of things for granted, and we don't give God thanks.
I love my double slice of paradise.
Man thanks, so we don't give God none. We don't know how blessed we are, you know. A lot of us need to travel.
Quite
and
so.
Even those who travel, sometimes all they could see is Walmart and Amazon, you know what I mean?
You got a point.
Yeah, they go shopping. Some don't even go sightseeing. Or you will have a greater appreciation for the things we have. You know, I really pray my heart goes out. Good afternoon, Journey. You know, I like his determination, you know.
Yeah.
I don't tell him. When you turn, you're going to make a good evangelist. He said, I mustn't be evangelist. Evangelist is the man who bears good news. That's what evangelist means, the bearer of good news.
Okay.
You know, I'm a bit, while I could see the point for some of these things in Africa, I don't support the lot of military takeover, you know. I would have preferred if another political party also, you know.
I didn't support the coup in, was it Grenada? With Maurice Bishop?
Right.
But it was justified. The mongoose
but
gang
what I'm
in
saying-
Grenada was just wrong. And based on the
is
fact
a-
that they said that he overthrew a democratically elected government, he sought aid from Canada, they said no. Sought aid from the UK, they said no. He sought aid from the US, they said no. He turned to Cuba. Oh, he's communist.
No, he went to Russia. You know, I put in my
Yes,
class.
he did not
And you
want
read-
to.
They went to Russia where they learned to use arms and stuff like that.
Bernard
But
Court
I
and them,
must
not
tell
Bishop.
you, right? Have you been to Grenada?
Of course. It wasn't Bishop, it was Court.
Well, yes, court. But that's why I'm telling you, they have some people in this organization, like my good friend Kalandi, they say, if they're not for us, you're against us. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because they felt that Bishop was moving too much to the right.
But they denied him assistance. He appealed to Canada, to England, and the US. They said no. What will he do? Let Gary go with his nonsense? And he had the support of people. It was a bloodless coup.
But go back to Bishop. Bishop wanted to transition it, you know. After you build up your people, but when you have some people who are determined to control other people, your life in danger.
That is why he was killed by Court and those guys. It was not what he wanted. He brought relief to the people, but he would not get the support of the international community because they said, oh,
Yeah, but
you had a coup.
What about Court? Court wanted
Court was
the power by
hardline.
himself.
Court was hardline, and that's why they killed Bishop.
Yeah, you know, I was on campus, right? I was on campus when this coup. Mark Figueroa, the head of the economic department, he took sabbatical and went down to Grenada. You know, because everybody wanted to transform Grenada. Because they had good programs, you know, in terms of education and whatever.
Yep.
The only thing was the private sector. Because when I went to Grenada, we were staying at some apartments owned by a gentleman. And he lamented, you know, he had just built, expanded his house to have an apartment. Stuck with all his debt, and they couldn't do any business. You know, so he kept complaining, and I was trying to explain to him and so. But I was still taken aback, because as far as I could see, there wasn't much transformation in the country, maybe in the people's mind, but I was disappointed, to tell you the truth. I was looking to see, you know, something. I saw the nice airport, eh? That's the
We
first
just
thing
talk
you see, a
about
nice
the aid that
airport.
they wasn't getting. They were sanctioned, Sister Henry. They were sanctioned by the US, Canada, and England.
Well, you see, you got to sort out things, you know. So I am still, unlike my good friend Johnny, I am still cautious about all of these military bodies taking over the government.
Yeah,
Because
that's what
once
they
they
said.
get power,
They don't want to relinquish.
they have the arms to
Sustain.
fence themselves in.
Mhm.
'Cause look in, I met this girl at IMF. It used to be Formosa, but the army took over. And they have no problem in shooting anybody who is opposition. They shoot you down,
Yep.
you know. So I hope, my praise for Africa, you hear me? My praise for Africa. But I have serious concern, serious, because the truth is, you put out one and you're taking one.
Yep.
These large countries are not going in for free.
Nope, of course not.
So everybody see an opportunity. Even what we don't want those, next thing you know, you see somebody is taking over. I was quite curious about a statement the Prime Minister made. He went to St. Vincent to check out the
Cannabis
ganja.
industry.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the medicinal. And somebody is supposed to come to help us. I forgot the nationality. You understand?
You got about 2 minutes left, so nail the point if you can.
Oh, well, today's Evelyn's birthday.
Okay.
Evelyn Morris.
Yes, okay. Happy
My
birthday to her.
blind co-worker.
All right.
Happy birthday, Evie. I don't know if they come back yet. Today's also Jamie Fraser from Gongo Field. She has a preschool. Today's her birthday.
Okay.
Friday will be my daughter-in-law, Alicia Henry, who work at Hartford Building Center. Friday will be her birthday. Next week I have a whole set. On my husband's birthday, the 12th, 2 of my granddaughters, and my son on the 15th.
We send salutations.
All those are celebrating and thank the gentleman called me to thank me for the cane.
Yes. I spoke with him yesterday. He was glad for the call that I passed on that came from you.
He
So
called me and tell me that.
beautiful.
Walford pick it up, and he was going to bring it.
There you
So
go.
I want to encourage other people, do what you can to help those around you, because you never know. And I must compliment the government. It used to be 800, and I used to wonder, when you have to go for 3 times a week, where you find the money?
And it's down,
Then
went down to 4.
The farmer one cut it to 400,
Mm-hmm.
and this one cut it to 2. And all I'm asking, Dr. Joe, please get the National Health Insurance Scheme up and running.
Okay.
Because 200 sound like nothing to some of us.
Not when you're
3 times 2 is
the
600
600
a week.
On that note, Sister Henry, it's a very positive one. We have to end the
May
program
God bless
today.
all of us and
Yes.
keep us safe and keep ourselves safe.
For
Good
those-
afternoon to everybody again.
Thank
God
you
bless
very much. No, we want to remind you guys that there's a there's a system coming away, may pass to the north of St. Kitts, but be prepared. We're in the month of September, hurricane season, independence celebration, just about everything may happen. So I want to thank first those who were part of this program, those who tried to call in, didn't get on. Perhaps on Friday we can continue the national debate on various topics. Thank you for joining Win FM, and we will see you or hear from you on Friday. Goodbye.
Here are your Hartford Value Mart IGA specials.
Running August 24 to September 6.
And during the month of September, the more you shop, the more you save.
You get double points on all meat and non-grocery items, so shop today.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tax specials. Bush's baked beans, $7.99. IGA and essential everyday canned fruits, $8.99. Fiora bath tissue, $20.99. Pepperidge Farm layer cakes, $19.99. Hot Pockets, $14.99. Quaker Captain Crunch cereals, $13.79. And now, our very low weekly
value deals. Hunt's ketchup, $4.99. Old Orchard apple juice, $9.99. IGA and essential